Okay, Algebra 1 students. Here is a short video walking you through the last part of lesson 19.1. Remember that the beginning of 19.1 taught you what the transformations are on quadratic functions, and also taught you vertex form, what it looks like, and how to read a graph and identify the transformations. And we're going to practice more with that for the rest of the week. This part is to show you how you can look at a graph and identify a second point, and how you can use algebra to write the original equation. So here we go. Here's the beginning. So first, you need to identify the vertex of the parabola. So let's take a look at this parabola. We're measuring the inside of the cup. That's the parabola that is part of our problem. Okay, so here's the vertex. It's at 3.5, 1. Okay, 3.5, 1. So now they want you to identify another point on the graph. And I strongly suggest that you look for a lattice point, but I'm not going to hassle the textbook. They decided to use 2.5, 2. Okay, so here's the second point, 2.5, 2. Here's the vertex, 3.5, 1. All right, so now we're ready to start by writing the vertex form of the function. That's the next instruction. So I wrote it over here in a pretty green color, just so that you could take a look at what it looks like. Okay? So we know in vertex form what the vertex is. So we have almost every blank filled in our formula. But what we never know is the value of A. So we have to solve for A. All right? And the way we do that is by using the second point. Remember, young people, right now I have 1, 2, 3 variables in this equation. I cannot solve for anything with 3 variables. I can only solve for 1 at a time, which means a couple of these values, I need to know what they are. So that's why we pick a second point. F of x, as you remember, means the same thing as y, and x is x. So I'm going to plug in my values for my second point. See, we have 2.5 here in place of x, and we have 2 in place of f of x, or y. Now you can see that the only variable I have is A. So now I can solve for A. So grouping symbols first, 2.5 minus 3.5 is -1. Exponents are next. -1 squared is +1. And so now that A is just multiplied by 1, I can just write A. So now I need to isolate A to find out what it is. And I see that if I subtract 1 from both sides using my subtraction property of equality, then I find out that A equals +1. So now, once I know what A is, I can write my final function. And here that is. F of x equals x minus 3.5 quantity squared plus 1. So that's it, young people. Your job is to do the worksheet. You have 6 graphs, and you have to identify the equation for those graphs. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.